Hey, this is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling with Platinum versus AEW Dark. This is from December 21st, 2021, and 13 matches long. Jump Jesus on a pogo stick. How did this show compare to AEW Dark Elevation? Let's see. We'll get the first match, Lee Johnson and Brock Anderson versus the Gun Club, in this case, Colton and Austin, the kids. So we're going to call this a competitive match. Did both sides look good? Yes. Lee Johnson does a very good job of making sure Brock Anderson looks effective and never looks lost or gets exposed, and does another great job here. The Gun Club, they cheat and they win, and that's a good way to go. Both sides look good. That's a check mark. Gun Club went over definitively. That's a second check mark. Is something advanced? Yeah, I think we're going to see more of this Gun Club versus the Nightmare Factory people, Nightmare Family. Second match, Abaddon against Charlotte Renegade, with Robin Renegade at ringside. So the Renegade sisters are here in two separate matches. This first one against Abaddon. This is not a competitive match, so the grading system is slightly different. Abaddon goes over definitively with that leg trap DDT. Thank you for taking the Widow's Peak away from her. I know I say that every time, but it's important to emphasize because it just looks much better with that DDT. And there's a little more like wrestling action going on, and Abaddon is keeping up very, very well. So that's good too. Abaddon looks good in the process. It's a second check mark. And then Charlotte Renegade does a great job putting over the whole Abaddon thing. So that's a third check mark. Third match, Eddie Kingston, Colin Delaney. Colin Delaney, I believe, making his third appearance. Eddie Kingston, of course, has been there a minute, and you know he's going to win this one, and he most certainly does. The DDT looks really, really good, and really throws Colin Delaney around in this one, no doubt about it. So check mark for Eddie Kingston, second because he looks good, and Colin Delaney does a great job putting Eddie Kingston over, so that's a third check mark. Fourth match, we got Penelope Ford against Willow Nightingale. Willow Nightingale making quite a few appearances as of late. By the way, this was obviously taped at Universal because there's a lot of Florida-related or Georgia-related people nearby and close to come do this. Willow Nightingale, this is the best that I believe she's looked and made somebody look. Penelope Ford on a bit of a run here, looks really good. Wins with the Muda lock, which I think is a good hold for Penelope. Three check marks moving on. Fifth match, Brandy Rhodes against the other Renegade sister, Robin. Renegade does her level best and makes Rhodes look great. So you know that third check mark is already there. How does Brandy Rhodes look? Good. Not great. A little mechanical. I mean, I'm spending my time with this one because it's one of the more significant matches that happened for the reason that it's Brandy Rhodes who's going to be in the midst of the comeback. By the way, how many wins does Brandy Rhodes have now? The answer may shock you and surprise you. 14 with 3 losses only. Brandy Rhodes has one of the best records in the entire women's division. Better than, percentage-wise, probably as good as like Hikaru Shida or something. Madness. Brandy Rhodes wins with a with a submission hold called the stretch mark, which is absolutely horrible. Who wants to get beat by the stretch mark? I hate it. So I'll give this thing 2 check marks because it doesn't deserve 3. Sixth match, Jora Joel, who they've been giving wins lately, and is going to get another one against Julius Coleman, making his AEW debut. Does a good job. They have a bit of a back and forth match, though at one point it just becomes about Jora Joel throwing him around, and wins with a pump kick. So 3 check marks. Pump kick, though, not in AEW. I wouldn't do it. Almost everybody else who did a pump kick, they sort of got away from it for a reason. Seventh match, Isaiah Cassidy with Jora Joel at ringside against Carlie Bravo, who we absolutely love and is having his 19th appearance. And it's great to see. Carlie, I hope you get signed, brother, because you're freaking great. They have a nice back and forth match. Carlie Bravo looks really, really great. Um, and Cassidy roughs him up a bit. They take the fight to the outside. I mean, this is one of the more competitive matches going on, though it is an obvious foregone conclusion match and will be graded thusly. It's a really good match. So 3 check marks. Great job, Carlie Bravo, who will likely be our performer of the week. That is, if Shalonce Royal doesn't get it in our 8th match against Kiera Hogan. Shalonce Royal knows what she's there to do, have a good back and forth match, but then ultimately make sure Kiera Hogan looks very strong. Kiera Hogan finally gets to that 500 mark at 4-4 with her win with a roundhouse kick over Shalonce Royal. Great job, Carlie. Great job, Shalonce. And the commentators were really high on Shalonce Royal and Carlie Bravo as well, I must point out. Bear Country against Zach Clayton and Mike Orlando. Mike Orlando making his debut. Zach Clayton's been there a few times before. At the end of the day, if you're in there with Bear Country, you're going to kind of do the same spots, and it certainly happens. And Bear Country wins. 3 check marks, nothing wrong with the match, and the guys do a good job in defeat. And then the Acclaim come out as Bear Country does an interview, but the Acclaim comes out and challenges Bear Country to a match next week. So again, AEW Dark doing a better job of setting up future shows for themselves than AEW Dark Elevation. Which is a little easier to do when you're doing these Orlando tapings. I will grant you, Dark Elevation was from Texas. This one, part of the Universal tapings. So, of course, they're able to string things together a little easier, but still, right? 10th match, Preston Vance, number 10, against Leroy Patterson, who is new, with Howdy, which is what? Howdy doesn't really get a spot here, except for -1 stealing Howdy's hat. Vance doing the pounce, I think, is a great addition to the offense and should keep it. And Vance hits that spine buster, and then full Nelson lock knocks him out for the win. 3 check marks. 11th match, Red Velvet against La Rosa Negra. It's great to see La Rosa back for a second time, I believe. Looks really good here. Velvet continues to improve. Really like her matches. Look forward to them. Picks up another win. So that is match number 58 for Red Velvet. It snuck up on you, didn't it? Sean Dean gets to pick up a win against Lucas Chase, making his second appearance. Sean Dean, a regular, and we're seeing him wrestle more and more. Captain's Clothesline, Flying Splash. Congratulations to Sean Dean for picking up that win. 3 check marks. And then finally, we'll call it competitive because it's the de facto main event. It is Matt Sydal against Serpentico, 2 guys who do a great job making other people on the roster look phenomenal. And they make one another look phenomenal in a very competitive match. Check mark because they both look good. Second check mark for the Lightning Spiral victory by Sydal. And a third check mark because something feels like it may be advanced. We might be seeing Chaos Project against some version of the Sydal brothers or Matt Sydal teaming with somebody else. In any case, great show. Congratulations to Shalonce Royal and Carlie Bravo. Keep kicking ass.